Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the second webinar offered by the Union for the Mediterranean with the collaboration of WOC. In November, we launched the first block of this program under the title Leading Digital Transformation in Higher Education Models, Leadership and Quality Assurance. The November session focused on digital transformation at the institutional level, exploring key models, leadership approaches, and quality assurance systems. It was designed to support academic leaders, administrators, and faculty in navigating the complexities of digital transformation in higher education. So today and tomorrow, we move into the second part of the program titled Designing Inclusive and High-Quality Digital Learning, Trends, Tools, and Competencies for Higher Education. We will shift our focus to learning design, exploring the trends, tools, and competencies necessary for creating inclusive and high-quality digital learning experiences. So this second webinar is tailored for teaching and research staff and aims to provide practical insights into technology-based learning design for higher education. Today, we will present from 9 till 10:30 the session called Learning Design Models. Then we have 30 minutes break, and later from 11 to 12:30, we have the second session that is named Digital Teaching and Learning Transformation. Tomorrow, the 3rd of December, we will start again at 9 till 10:30. We have the session Trends in Technology Enhanced Learning, also 30 minutes break, and the second and the last session will be at 11 with the session Quality in Online Learning Courses, and followed by the final remarks of these 2 days. During the presentations, you can write questions in our Zoom chat, and at the end of each session, the presenters will answer it. We also would like to highlight that these presentations will be available at the Union for Mediterranean site very soon, and also a complementary guidebook will be provided to all participants. So thank you for joining us, continuing this important journey toward reimagining the education in the digital age. Let's make the most of this opportunity to learn, share, and innovate together. So welcome, and let's start. So now we are going to start with the first session around learning design models that will be given by Professor Maina and by myself. Today, we have these contents, one about learning design for digital learning environment. The second topic we will address is learning design models, where we are going to present Ari, Chipak, Sam, and UDL. The third topic will be artificial intelligence as a powerful assistant of the learning design. And finally, we will give you some conclusions as takeaways of the session. So let's go to start with the first topic about learning design for digital learning environments, highlighting its relevance. But why is learning design relevant in this context of digital transformation? The design of any educational action is the foundation for creating well-planned, organized, and coherent training aligned with learning objectives. However, in online or hybrid learning modalities, it becomes absolutely essential. So we recommend that we need a solid planning. But planning is only a part of the story. Sometimes circumstances for us to rethink our approach. For example, during the pandemic, many of us had to pivot quickly to new learning contexts and modalities. This highlights the importance of redesign, adapting and evolving our designs to meet emerging needs and opportunities while maintaining focus on the learners. Let me say that investing in the design process is an investment in the quality of teaching and learning. Thoughtful design enhances the educational experience, making it more meaningful, engaging, and effective. It's not just about tools or technology, but about creating purposeful and impactful learning experiences. However, we recognize that resources or support for a comprehensive design process might not always be available. This is where creativity comes into play. So, by leveraging simpler yet effective strategies, we can still achieve great outcomes, demonstrating that thoughtful design doesn't always require complex tools. It requires intention. And finally, as we navigate this ever-evolving landscape, we must embrace opportunity. So digital transformation coupled with tools like AI opens up new possibilities for learning design. But we will see later on at the end of this presentation when my colleague Marcelo will present you how artificial intelligence can act both as a support system for designers and a powerful tool in the learning process itself. The objective is that experimenting with the new strategies and leveraging technology creatively, we can design experiences that are not only innovative, but also deeply relevant to our learners' needs. So the idea I would like to give you is that learning design in the context of digital transformation is not just about keeping up with change. It's about leading the way, ensuring that the quality and impact of education remain at the forefront of everything we do. What are the key contributions of learning design? At its core, learning design offers a comprehensive and integrative vision. It's not just about creating a course, but about addressing the full process: planning, designing, implementing, managing, and evaluating. It acts as a guideline, helping teachers and designers navigate the complexities of creating impactful learning experiences. Let me say that the beauty of learning design is its adaptability. So while there are countless models and approaches, the real challenges lies in systematizing the process to ensure consistency and quality. Each designer brings their unique methodology, but having a structured framework allows for a more efficient and effective workflow. One of its greatest strengths is its ability to support decision making. So, grounding decisions in clear objectives and principles, learning design provides a solid foundation, ensuring that every choice made contributes meaningfully to learning experience. It also provides a holistic view of the course, considering all aspects to ensure the final product is cohesive, suitable, and of high quality. So this perspective is critical, particularly when integrating technology, as it ensures the value of ICT is maximized, aligning the tools with educational objectives rather than using technology for its own sake, for example. Finally, learning design encourages continuous improvement. So let me say that collecting, analyzing data on both the design process and its outcomes, it offers insights that benefits both teachers and students, fostering ongoing refinement and evolution. In essence, the idea we would like to transfer today is that learning design is not just a tool. It's a philosophy, a way to approach teaching and learning with purpose, precision, and impact. Its contribution lies in its ability to transform vision into action and ideas into meaningful learning experiences. But let's go to present some examples of the learning design models we can use regarding the adoption of this philosophy. Let's see now an overview of the models we are going to present today in more detail. But first, I would like to highlight with this table the key models in learning design, each offering a unique perspective on creating effective educational experiences. ADI, for example, emphasizes a systematic approach guiding the instructional process through clearly defined phases to ensure a structured and goal-oriented outcomes. In contrast, CHIPAC focuses on the integration of content pedagogy and technology, aiming to enhance teaching by aligning these three critical components. Meanwhile, SAM model takes technology integration further, emphasizing the transformation of learning tasks to redefine and enrich learning experiences. So let me say that a notable difference among these models is their approach to technology. While ADI can be implemented with or without technology, CHIPAC and SAM place technology at the forefront, either by integrating it thoughtfully with TPAC or using, for example, to transform learning tasks with SAM, for example. Additionally, universal design learning stands out by focusing on inclusivity, emphasizing flexibility to accommodate diverse learners' needs, often leveraging technology to enhance accessibility, for example. Together, these models provide complementary frameworks for addressing the varied challenges and opportunities in designing impactful modern learning experiences. But let's see in more detail which one of these models. For example, ADI model, let me say that is an adapted version based on our experience for online and hybrid courses. In our university, we've been working in this sense with this adaptation. So this infographic and also the scheme showing this adaptation of ADI model provide a concise overview of the key steps involved in designing online courses, as myself outlining in 2022 in the practical guide Improving Online Teaching. For example, that illustrates a structured step-by-step process to ensure the development of high-quality learner-centered online education. Each phase, as you can see, from analysis, planning, design, creation, management, teaching to evaluation, is represented to highlight its specific role in achieving coherence, engagement, and effectiveness in course design. In the following slides, we will delve into each phase in more detail, exploring how these steps contribute to creating online courses that are pedagogically sound, technological supported, and tailored to the needs of diverse learners. So this is a kind of, let me say, roadmap that will serve as a foundation for understanding and applying the principles of quality of the online education. For example, if we start with the analysis phase, we see that is the critical starting point in designing any educational experience. It begins by answering key questions about the target audience, who they are, their profile, and the specific competencies they need to develop. Whether it's students or professionals, understanding their context and needs is essential to tailoring the course effectively. Next, we ask why, identifying the competencies that are most relevant to the course and linking them to the desired learning outcomes. This includes determining what learners should be able to do by the end of the course and establishing clear performance criteria that guide the design. Finally, this phase focuses on what is needed to bring the project to life. So this involves assessing existing resources to determine if we are starting from scratch or improving an already designed course, for example. So analyzing reusable materials, we ensure efficiency and the alignment with our goals. So the analysis phase sets the foundation for everything that follows, making it indispensable in creating meaningful and learner-centered design. If we go, for example, to the planning phase of forecasting and scheduling, we can say that is where we turn analysis into actions by forecasting and scheduling the steps needed to bring the design project to life. This means that we should include setting a timeline and creating a detailed schedule that outlines all the necessary actions to organize and manage the full process effectively. Collaboration is a key component here. It's essential to plan meetings with teachers and collaborators, establishing network workspaces to ensure everyone is engaged and aligned throughout the design process. And also, let me say that this phase involves anticipating the resources required from authorships, if it's necessary, to production and editing, based on insights from the analysis phase. So in this regard, it's important to consider any potential innovations that the course might include, as this can influence the planning process, timelines, and resource allocation. So in the sense, the planning phase ensures that the design process is both systematic and adaptable, paving the way for a successful implementation. Let's go now to the design phase of creating a teaching guide and a design planning tool. So this phase is where the core structure of the course takes shape. So this involves creating a teaching guide that serves as a blueprint for aligning competencies and objectives with the course curriculum. These all elements are critical for ensuring that the course is focused, coherent, and relevant. A key aspect of this phase, let me say that is also the inclusion of real professional scenarios to contextualize learning. This makes the learning process meaningful and practical by stimulating situations learners are likely to encounter in real-world contexts. Within these scenarios, we identify potential learning activities and decide on instructional strategies to facilitate engagement and understanding. So resources also play a central role. We select materials, tools, and resources directly linked to the activities and determine the most suitable formats for their presentation. And finally, we define the course evaluation model, of course, deciding on strategies and tools to measure what to evaluate, how, and when. So in this sense, the design phase ensures the course is not only well structured, but also impactful and aligned with the learner's needs and objectives. So let's go now to the creation phase, is where everything plan and design comes to the classroom. In this phase, we take the learning situations and describe the activities in detail, specifying the task learners will complete and the resources they will need. And this ensures clarity and alignment between the activities and the learning objectives. A relevant aspect of this phase is authorship and resource creation. So whether developed by the teacher or subject matter experts, resources must be carefully created and edited to ensure that are ready for use in the classroom. This step, let me say, that is essential for delivering high quality materials that enhance the learning experience. Additionally, continuous assessment is outlined in this phase too. So this includes detailing what the students or groups are expected to produce, providing clear guidelines and templates, and specifying the evaluation criteria. Tools for assessment are also developed, ensuring that the process is transparent and well structured. This is why it's important, this part. So the creation phase bridge planning and implementation, so ensuring the course is ready to deliver meaningful and engaging learning experience. And what about the next phase, about management? So this phase ensures that the virtual classroom is fully configured and ready for use before teaching begins. This involves editing the teaching and learning guide and calendar, uploading the guide to the virtual classroom, and updating the calendar with all relevant dates and activities, ensuring everything is clear and organized for learners. Another important aspect is to add and configure tools such as blogs, wikis, forums, portfolios, groups, workspaces, and so on. And these tools must be set up to align with the course objectives and activities. Additionally, it's essential to verify that all resources are present and accessible, ensuring that links, videos, library materials, and so on are other tools are functional and easy to navigate. So if the course involves multiple classrooms or instructors, when the institution, for example, enroll many students, coordination becomes very critical. So clear instructions must be provided to all instructors, and the teaching process should be aligned across classroom to maintain consistency among them. So in this phase of the management, we can say that it's the final step in preparing for seamless and well-organized teaching experience. And what about the teaching phase? So we can say that is where the teaching and learning process actively unfolds. So it begins with the course launch, where the virtual classroom is introduced and the teaching and learning guide is presented as the roadmap for the course. And this is also an opportunity for instructors to introduce themselves, set expectations, and create a welcoming environment for all students. Teaching is in this phase focuses on facilitation, so ensuring that the students are guided and supported throughout their learning journey. Key actions include presenting activities according to the calendar, addressing students' questions, providing feedback to help them improve, and evaluating the learning process and outcomes. Additionally, let me say that maintaining also student motivation and offering timely support are essential to fostering engagement and ensuring their success. So the teaching phase is about creating a dynamic and interactive learning experience that empowers students to achieve their goals. And what about the evaluation phase? So this is the final one. And let me say that is a comprehensive assessment of the full course process, covering planning, design, creation, management, and teaching. So this phase is not addressing the learning results. It's about the impact of the design. So this involves reviewing the development of the course design or redesign, documenting the steps taken, and critically analyzing the strategies used. So the goal is to identify strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. So evaluation also occurs from two perspectives. Let me say, this is one that is very important for us. From the teaching perspective, it's important to reflect on the experience, considering challenge phase, resources and activities that were successful or less effective, and adjustments needed for future iterations. From the learning perspective, for example, the focus is on analyzing outcomes, including student performance and satisfaction. So this is why it's important, these two perspectives, when we are evaluating the impact of the design we did. And finally, we can say that this phase concludes with proposing improvements for the next iteration, ensuring that the course remains relevant, high quality, and aligned with the evolving needs of both students and educators. So this phase fosters a culture of continuous improvement essential for maintaining the excellence in teaching and learning. And let's go now to explore TPAC model. So the TPAC model, it's a technological, pedagogical content knowledge. So it's a powerful framework designed to help educators integrate technology into their teaching in a purposeful and effective manner. It highlights let me say, the interplay between three critical components: content knowledge, which focuses on the subject matter; pedagogical knowledge, which involves the strategies for teaching and learning; and technological knowledge, which addresses the tools and technologies available or more suitable. What sets the PAC apart is its emphasis on the interaction between these elements. So teaching with technology isn't simply about adding tools to the classroom. It's about integrating these tools in ways that complement the content and align with pedagogical strategies. So this approach ensures a cohesive, engaging, and impactful learning experience that leverages technology to enhance teaching outcomes. In the following slides, we will explore how TPAC can guide teachers and educators in making informed decisions about integrating technology into their practices. So, we have these three essential components, as I mentioned, and for this model, and it will with this content knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and technological knowledge. So each of these plays a vital role in creating, let me say, a balanced and effective teaching approach. In the case of content knowledge, refers to a deep understanding of the subject matter being taught. It ensures that the teachers have the expertise needed to convey accurate and meaningful information to students. And for example, in the case of pedagogical knowledge, this focuses on teaching strategies, learning theories, and classroom management techniques. So this is about knowing how to teach effectively, tailoring methods to different learners and contexts. And finally, regarding technological knowledge, this involves understanding the tools and technologies available, their capabilities and affordances, and how to use them effectively to enhance learning. So together, let me say that these three components form the foundation of the TPAC framework, enabling teachers to create meaningful and technology-integrated teaching strategies. But in the next slides, we will discuss how these components interact to elevate and enhance these experiences. So, for example, the importance of interconnectivity. So, in the relationship we have in this model is that it highlights the critical importance of interconnectivity among its core components, as effective teaching requires more than just expertise in isolated areas. It's about how these components combine to create a cohesive and impactful learning experience. For example, pedagogical content knowledge is the intersection of content and pedagogical knowledge. So this informs how subject matter can be effectively taught, guiding educators in selecting appropriate strategies for their content. In the case of technological content, knowledge combines content with technology, enabling meaningful integration of technology into the curriculum in ways that enhance subject-specific learning. And finally, the technological pedagogical knowledge is where pedagogy and technology intersect, focusing on how technology can be used to enhance teaching methods and foster engagement. So these intersections demonstrate that successful teaching is about blending knowledge areas to create dynamic, technologically supported, and pedagogically sound learning environments. And for example, in the upcoming slides, we will explore how these intersections can be applied in practice. So applying this framework to lesson planning involves a structured approach that integrates content pedagogy and technology effectively. So this ensures a cohesive and engaging learning experiences for students, And in this sense, we would like to highlight that following this model and this interconnectivity I mentioned before, we propose to identify first the learning objectives, determining what students need to know or be able to do by the end of the lesson, establish clear objectives, lay the foundation for effective planning, let me say. Also, for example, as a second action, we have to select relevant content, choosing materials that support these objectives and align with the subject matter, ensuring students have access to meaningful and contextually appropriate resources, for example. Another action should be select appropriate technology, identifying tools that enhance both teaching and learning. The selected technology should align with the objectives and content while adding value to the educational experience. Another action that should be done is develop engaging activities. So, and how we can do that? So, planning activities where technology plays a role in fostering students' engagement, interaction, and active participation. And finally, assess student learning. And how? So using technology to design assessment that measure understanding and track progress effectively, aligning with the lesson objectives. So this structural approach ensures that all elements of this model, of TPAC model, are seamlessly integrated into the lesson planning process, creating impactful and well-rounded learning experience. But let's see some examples of TPAC in the classroom. So, as we have seen, this framework comes to life through practical applications that simply integrate content, pedagogy, and technology to enhance the learning experiences. And here, for example, I can show you some examples like interactive simulations. So using virtual labs or simulations offer a safe, controlled, and engaging environment for exploring complex scientific concepts. Students can experiment with variables, observe outcomes, and practice procedures, replicating real-world scenarios and fostering deep understanding. Another example can be online collaboration tools, facilitating group work and discussions using platforms like Google Docs, Padlet, or others. These tools enable students to brainstorm ideas, share information, or create collaborative projects, enhancing teamwork and interactive learning. Another example could be digital storytelling that encourages students to create multimedia projects using video editing software or online platforms, transform traditional storytelling into a dynamic, interactive, and creative experience, building both technical and narrative skills. And finally, another example can be teaching historical analysis with technology, where we can propose assignments like creating a digital, let me say, timeline on platforms such as Canva or Genially or other applications, allowing the students to use digital archives to explore historical events such as the Industrial Revolution or other events. And teachers guide students in evaluating source credibility, blending critical thinking, and content knowledge and digital skills. So these examples demonstrate how TPAC can be applied across different disciplines to create innovative, engaging, and effective learning experiences. As you can see, each activity exemplifies the intersection of content, pedagogy, and technology, empowering students with relevant and meaningful skills. And let's now to present SAM model. So SAM model is another model that provides a clear, let me say, framework for integrating technology into teaching, highlighting the different ways it can impact learning tasks. This visual scheme organizes the model in two levels. As you can see, we have the enhancement and transformation, each with distinct stages. So in the case of substitution, At this stage, technology serves as a direct replacement for traditional tools without altering the learning process. For example, if we use a text processor or a Word, for example, instead of a pen and a paper. And for example, in the case of augmentation, we can say that here technology enhanced traditional tools by improving functionality and increasing student engagements, such as using interactive features in a digital textbook. So these stages I mentioned now make up the enhancement level where technology improves existing practices. And what happens in the case of modification? So we are moving into the transformation level. So this stage involves redesigning learning tasks in ways that were previously were not possible, such as creating collaborative projects using online platforms. And about redefinition, at the highest level, technology enables new activities that wouldn't be possible without it, such as virtual reality experience for exploring historical sites or scientific phenomena, just to mention two examples. So the SAM model helps teachers reflect on how technology is used in the classroom and inspires them to move beyond basic substitutions toward meaningful transformation, enriching the learning experience. But let's go to see specific examples for each stage. So in the SAM model, for example, here where technology acts as a direct replacement for traditional tools without fundamentally changing the learning process. For example, just to cite some, classroom notes. Traditionally, students take handwritten notes in notebooks during lectures. And with technology substitutions, students type their notes on a word processor like Word or Google Docs, offering a digital alternative to pen and paper. Another example, textbooks. Instead of reading printed textbooks, students can access the same material in ebook, for example, or PDF formats and devices such as tablets, laptops, or e-readers. Another example of substitution, quizzes and assessment. Teachers traditionally distribute printed quizzes for students to complete, and when we add technology, this replace this with digital quizzes on platforms like Google Forms or Kahoot, just to cite some applications you can use, maintaining the same purpose but in a different medium. And classroom presentations, this is another example. In a traditional setting, teachers use a whiteboard to present key points and illustrations, and technology substitutes this with tools like PowerPoint or Prezi or other digital whiteboards, delivering the same content in a digital format. So these examples illustrate how technology in the substitution stage replicates traditional methods while offering the convenience and accessibility of digital tools, setting the foundation for further enhancement and transformation. And what happened, for example, in the case of augmentation? Let's look at other examples where technology serves as a direct substitute for traditional tools, but with added functional improvements that enhance the learning experience. For example, in the case of interactive textbooks, traditionally students read printed textbooks, and with technology augmentation, they access ebooks that include features like embedded hyperlinks, videos, interactive quizzes, and let me say annotation tools, and as seen in platforms like eText or Kindle, enriching the engagement with the material. Another example can be collaborative writing. So group writing projects used to rely on handwritten drafts or printed documents. Now tools like Google Docs or Word Online enable real-time collaboration with features like simultaneous editing, commenting, and version control, so making the process more efficient and dynamic. Another example can be enhanced presentations. So instead of using chalkboards or static visuals, so teachers can create multimedia presentations using tools like PowerPoint, Prezi, or Genially, or other applications, incorporating animations, videos, and hyperlinks to deepen student understanding and maintaining interest. Another example can be digital homeworks and feedback. So let me say that homework traditionally completed on paper and reviewed manually by teachers, but can now be submitted online via platforms like Moodle or other platforms. So these systems offer automated feedback for quiz-based assignments, providing instant responses to students and saving time for teachers. So these examples show how the augmentation stage enhanced traditional practices by leveraging the unique capabilities of technology to improve functionality and engagement. And let's now to see what happens with modification. So modification in the SAM model represents a significant redesign of learning tasks, leveraging technology to create more interactive and collaborative experience that go beyond traditional methods. For example, if we have a collaborative research projects, traditionally students work in groups to create posters or written reports. And with technology, they can co-author research papers using tools like Google Docs or other applications, share resources in real time, and receive live feedback from peers and teachers, fostering deeper collaboration and refinement. Another example of modification can be virtual science labs. So physical labs often come with limitations in equipment or safety, as I mentioned before, and technology allows students to use these virtual labs like simulations, for example, that are open and free, enabling them to experiment with the complex scenarios, manipulating variables, and visualizing outcomes in ways that would be too costly or even dangerous in real life. Another example of modification can be interactive peer reviews. So instead of exchanging printed essays with handwritten comments, students can use platforms to submit work for peer review, for example. And reviewers can highlight text, leave detailed comments, and suggest edits directly on the document, streamlining the feedback process. And finally, another example of modification can be flipped classroom. So in the traditional approach, lectures are delivered in class and students complete homeworks independently. And let me say that in a flipped model, teachers record instructional videos, for example, and upload them to platforms for students to watch before class. Or maybe they are suggesting to read a chapter or an article, or just to consult learning materials. And then in class time is dedicated to problem solving, discussions, and applying concepts, transforming how learning happens. So these examples highlight how modifications significantly enhance traditional tasks, making them more interactive, efficient, and impactful, while opening new pathways for active and collaborating learning. And finally, the redefinition stage in the SAM model shows how technology enables tasks that were previously unimaginable, transforming learning into dynamic, interactive, and globally connected experiences. And here, for example, we can show some examples. First one, crowdsourced knowledge building, is that instead of contributing to classroom discussions or writing essays, students collaborate to create, let me say, Wikipedia-style entries or blog on study topics. And this approach incorporates multimedia, extensive research, and engagement with global audiences, transforming knowledge sharing into a dynamic and interactive process. Another example of redefinition can be creating interactive portfolios. Traditional portfolios are often limited to printed art projects or a selection of evidence of learning. With technology, students can build interactive digital portfolios that include videos, audio reflections, and links to online resources. These portfolios even can be shared with peers, with mentors and our teachers, or even potential employers, extending their impact beyond the classroom. Another example of this redefinition can be the use of augmented reality for interactive learning. So studying human anatomy using a textbook, for example, diagrams or static models becomes more engaging with augmented reality. So students can explore 3D interactive models, zoom in, rotate, and interact with organs and systems, deepening their understanding of complex structures. And finally, last example is about virtual field trips, while physical trips to museum or historical sites are valuable. So technology allows students to use tools like Google Expeditions or virtual reality headsets to explore locations such as the, let me say, Great Barrier Reef, ancient ruins, or International Space Station. So some examples like that, broadening their horizons to experiences that were once unattainable. So these examples demonstrate how redefinition opened doors to innovative, immersive, and globally connected learning opportunities. Okay, so now I will give the floor to Professor Maina, who is going to present the next model. Please, Marcelo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lourdes. We will keep on exploring different models. Of course, we made a selection of the more holistic ones and the more conceptual one that sends the basis for learning, design, right decisions, because we actually have to try to change our mindset regarding how we approach our courses, focusing when we are working on the digital, on the previous effort we need, and the time we need to invest in the good design. This one is about universal design for learning. That is not a competitive model with the other, but I would say it's more a transversal one as it focuses on inclusivity. Universal design for learning aims at creating flexible and inclusive learning environments that accommodate to diverse needs and all kinds of students. It ensures that all students is the main purpose, regardless of their abilities or backgrounds, have equal opportunities and offer various ways for students to access material, to demonstrate knowledge and stay motivated. That's why there are like three main principles guiding design decisions applying universal design for learning. One is related to engagement, the other to representation, and the third one on action and expression. I encourage you to visit the website, the CAST website, that is freely available online with a lot of information regarding how to implement these principles. Just to summarize them, these three principles, first of one is about means of engagement that focuses on stimulating interest and motivation of learning, using different strategies to engage students. Think about collaboration, think about all kind of active pedagogy that can be implemented, like problem solving through case studies. This idea of engaging students with the problem, with the activity, and with others, in working with others. There are also another principle that refers to the multiple means of representation, where information can be presented in various ways to accommodate different learning styles or capacities. For example, providing alternatives for auditory and visual information or supporting understanding across different languages. And the third one is about multiple means of action and expression. That is a very interesting approach that help us understand that all students can express themselves in different ways. I will come with some examples in a few seconds. We provide the students opportunity to express their knowledge through, for example, writing, speaking, or using different technology. And then we can let them choose about what is the best way. Let's focus, because we are talking about digital learning in our webinars, when you're focusing a lot on digital and the interplay with pedagogy, how UDL also help us apply certain principles with the right choice of technologies. For example, the implication of UDL in terms of inclusivity, the idea that all students, regardless of their abilities and backgrounds, can succeed in their learning. Technology, how can it support us? For example, using screen readers or captioning videos or multilingual resources. How it supports, for example, implications for flexibility, provides multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression. I was presenting before, for example, interactive ebooks, for example, or adaptive learning platform, multimedia content. How we can think about in terms of accessibility, removing all barriers to include everyone, including those with disabilities. Is creating accessible websites and text-to-speech software, providing also functionalities of keyboard navigation. How we promote engagement, meaning participation and motivation, using, for example, gamified learning application, virtual labs, I was explaining my colleague before, or discussion forums. If we keep on analyzing the implications in terms of personalization, helping to personalize learning path using technologies, using, for example, learning management system that we have provide a personal dashboard to inform the teacher or the student about the progress and then take decisions, or AI-driven tutoring systems. We will see that in a moment also. Equity promotes equal opportunities to everyone. There's decisions that must be taken from the institutional level about countering the digital divide and provide initiative with, for example, the provision of devices and ensuring internet access to everyone. This is an important factor and sometimes does not relate directly to our courses, but yes, impact our decisions regarding taking in consideration which is the access of our students to, for example, internet or different devices. Implication for collaborations, including collaborative learning and peer interaction, and creating the sense of community where people can help one and another. Do not rely only on teachers, but also on peers. This is like the purpose of inclusive education, using, for example, online collaboration tools or group projects in virtual environments on social learning platforms. And in terms of assessment, also provide support to diverse assessment methods. And here, Lourdes presented a few seconds ago about the portfolios affordances for example, evaluation, for reflection. But also we can use other kind of strategies, as online quizzes that provides instant feedback to corroborate our understandings of any subject, or peer assessment tools. As I was mentioning before, UDL, Universal Design for Learning, can be applied in combination with other models. I just here present one exercise that was done by the Lourdes and published in 2023. It's freely accessible online, where they add this layer of reviewing the TPAC model that was presented before, applying these principles of inclusion and equity. Just to give you some examples about design decisions that we can take in terms of creating environments that caters to all learning and ensuring equitable and access and engagement. For example, design decisions regarding accessibility features read from the TPAC approach would be related to technological knowledge. It means decisions regarding implementing tools that support diverse learning needs, like screen readers or captioning. As you see, this example is a little bit redundant with the previous one I explained before, just to understand that UDL can also serve as an input to take decision, but also as a kind of checklist if we are actually applying these principles to our design. In terms of interactive content, focusing more on content knowledge aspects of the TPAC, using multimedia resources like video simulations. In terms of collaborative activities, relating more to pedagogical knowledge, design group projects that engage interaction and collective problem solving in groups. Regarding feedback mechanism, related also to technological knowledge, how to think about. These are cognitive tools we can think about as TPAC or UDL also that help us take the right decision and see if we are covering all the requirements that we are now imposing ourselves as teachers in our courses and also to respond better to student needs. So I come back in terms of flexible learning paths related to pedagogical knowledge, allowing students to choose topics, for example, or projects that align with their needs and interests and support that into technology. And also in terms of content knowledge, for example, culturally relevant materials, integrate diverse perspectives, examples that reflect a student background, adapt that to their actual needs and that resonate with the intentions. For example, I will give you here an example of in the engagement principle in the physics module. There are different alternatives like hands-on activities where the students use Lego blocks to build structures and test their stability, understanding concepts like gravity, force, and stability in a fun way. Then talking about fun way, we can use also gamification approaches where the students participate in virtual reality simulation. For example, I just give an example here. You can put your subject matter or your interests of a rocket launch, applying physics principle to navigate the spacecraft and reach the target. And this can be a more competitive, more cooperative kind of gamification application. Each one collaborating to reach the target or dividing that into groups and then discuss about the decision they have taken and the procedure they have applied. Another one is about problem-based learning, where students are presented with real-world problems. We are talking about providing examples and activities that resonate with their reality. So these real-world problems related to renewable energy, for example, where they apply their physics knowledge to design solutions and present their ideas to our peers and discuss about that. An example in representation, I will give you about a business management model, for example, video lectures. This applies to many different courses. It's just to answer these examples in one specific subject. A student can access video lectures that explain business concepts in a clear and engaging way. You can use any kind of visual aids for doing that, animation, and real-world examples that make it more engaging. Using interactive charts and diagrams, students can use interactive charts to visualize complex business concepts and gain deeper understanding of the relationship within these processes. Or digital textbooks and resources where students have access to digital textbooks and resources that provide alternative formats like audio narration, embedded videos, and interactive exercise. And they can navigate through this content at their preference and pace. And an example of the third principle about action and expression from communication program. For example, we can provide the students the opportunity to decide how they will present their assignments, of course, always regarding the skill that we are evaluating. But in this case, for example, they could choose to present a digital presentation, where a student create digital presentation, as we are using right now, incorporating visuals, animation, or interactive elements to enhance the message and the audience in the presentation, and this allows the student to showcase in a creative way and also demonstrate technical skills. They could use, for example, in this communication program that is very relevant, for example, this example we are presenting here about a postcard production, where students create and produce their own podcast focusing on specific topics related to communication media, allows them to explore their interests, develop their writing, not only how they will express that orally, but also research about the subject and audio editing skills, for example. Could evaluate many skills at the same time. Or filmmaking and storytelling, where the students could produce short films, documentaries on animation projects, applying their knowledge and communication skills and the storytelling principles to create engaging media. So as you may see, we can give them room for expressing themselves and acting in their preference. So let's now move how AI is impacting every dimension of our life. But in particular, we will talk about now consistently with how AI can assist learning design. In this sense, we've been doing desk research and surveying practices that are already being published and demonstrate certain experience on that, and I will also present here our own experience using AI in the learning design of our courses. First of all, mention that most of the information already available highlights how AI is supporting us in taking decisions in data. So what we understand as data-driven decision. How AI can help us in making more efficient the processes that we implement when designing our courses. How they can help us in creativity, for example, in thinking about different engaging educational strategies and creating more interactive and multimedia materials. And there's a huge literature already existing about AI and how it is supporting personal learning experience together with the use of data, meaning merging the fields of learning analytic of artificial intelligence together and demanding new skills for us as teachers in terms of how to design and support students. We did that and mapped that in terms of, for example, the ADI model. We could do it also in other models, but how AI is supporting us in learning design as we presented as a third model today in the analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation of our courses when we take our course as a project. So the idea is that with AI, we can much more focus on student certain approaches. It empowers us in terms of learning designers and teachers for best solutions. It empowers also the students using technologies to support better their particular needs, what we known as adaptive learning. It supports us in the implementation phase, where we can create content and then provide content online in an adaptable way also, and evaluate our own courses. So the potential of AI is enormous. Let's explore some cases, specific ones regarding this model of analysis we're using, that is the ADI learning design model. For example, as I mentioned before, the combination of learning and analytics AI help us in the, for example, analysis phase, establishing a good profile of who are our students and how are they performing and how our courses are working. So AI, together with learning analytics, will help us in the analysis phase, in automating and gathering analysis and analyzing data and visualization of this learning data that help us understand better what is happening there, how they are performing. And of course, and identify knowledge gaps, trends, and patterns through what we understand as predictive analytics. Tomorrow we will talk about learning analytics and AI more in details in another webinar that is complementary to this one. The main focus is understanding learner needs and making informed decisions to more personalized and more adaptive learning process while enhancing our courses. Another example in the design phase is that we know that the best way to take the most of AI is learning how to interact with AI. What we know as prompting engineering is understanding how it works and adopting a language that is in a certain way the one that the AI is using to get the best from that. Sometimes developing prompts very substantive prompt that provides us with the result we are expecting is a little bit hard and difficult. We are in the process of learning about that, but there are already solutions available, and this is a free one, for example, that is helping us in the design phase of our courses. For example, here, just one example of AI Teaching Assistant Pro. Here is the link. You can access that and test it for free. It's helping us in creating a C-levels. So we can create a course description about any topic, generate higher level course learning outcomes, and focus on analysis, evaluation, and critical thinking, for example, skills, produce a course syllabus based on all the above in a number of weeks, distributed over time, and choose the number of topics to each topic. We can go further and deeper with additional tools, also, for example, developed by AI Teaching, and the same company that is about creating multiple choices, for example, or quizzes. As you see, AI is already presenting different forms of interactive, not only with the conversation through the prompting, but this is a more structured way of generating prompts and help us in generate a prompt that is rich and focuses on what we're actually expecting to provide us. It helps us then in generating the syllabus or lessons, suggesting content methodologies, or develop interactive elements and assessment. This helps us focus and concentrate on aligning content with learning outcomes, making more informed decisions, and develop the personalized learning path. Personalizing, you will see it comes all the time. Going a step further and analyzing available technology supporting different design decisions, for example, we're still in the design phase, is, for example, the solution presented by Blackboard auto-generated learning models. It helps us in merging different aspects of what we understand in the other approach, that is analysis, design, and development. So we go very fast from the idea of generating new ideas about our course and just already seeing implementing in a functional prototype within the learning management system. Imagine the power of that in terms of helping us improve this course. We do not rely only in a blueprint that usually we do it on paper, not anymore, I think, but we do it, for example, on a Word document, and then think about how we will look like in the environment, which will be the experience of our students with the learning course. Then this kind of tools, AI assisted, help us not only generate this content, at least a draft of that of course we have to validate, change, or modify it, but also seeing implemented in a functional platform, prototype, sorry. So we also create rubrics, exam questions. It can help us adapt the complexity of the content we want to introduce our students according to their profile, their level, customized visual resources. As you see, this is, I think we are in a starting point is that, but it is maturing very fast. Of course, in the development phase, we start creating content for our students and activities. There are many, many available tools here for us here that will help us in key activities like the creation of contents in different formats like diagram, charts, animation, presentations, illustration, video, and it helps us also and empower us in creating products that we were probably unable to do it ourselves because our skills were not so developed. We are not experts in every detail of media production, but these tools help us at least go very, very far in this sense. It allows us to focus more on designing these complex activities, on improving our learning design and experience of our students while creating more engaging learning resources and materials. In the implementation phase, and here we are talking about the delivery, the moment of delivery where we are with the students online, or in blended approaches, hybrid approaches, AI can assist us in for example, taking the responsibility of routine administrative tasks or processes, including, for example, answering some basic questions to the student, automating some assessment and feedback that help us then. Probably we need to validate, of course. For the moment, at least in our experience, we always need to validate that. We cannot rely exclusively on AI, or helping us in identifying students at risk, for example, and helping us in taking decisions targeting those specific groups of students. But it also can help the students. So we have to now start thinking about how AI not only help us in this process of learning design and facilitating learning, but also how AI can be integrated in the design of our own activities, how we suggest our students to use artificial intelligence. For example, AI already supports personalized guides and fixed feedback. It addresses issues of accessibility and inclusivity. It facilitates collaboration. It also guides assignments completion. I will show you some examples here. Some of them are experimental. Some of them are already at the market level. But as you see here is an example of Corbin, an AI-powered tutor that uses learning analytics to generate personalized feedback. For example, it helps the student or the teacher to take the right decision regarding how to intervene in a certain moment. So it helps us as teachers in what we understand as the co-orchestration, like for group formation or dynamics and transitions. And it also helps us in adjusting learning paths based on the information that is in real time available to us, tracking this engagement of a student with the content and with the course, and providing, for example, real-time feedback. On another example here is in the implementation phase. There are other tools. They are mentioned in this paper of the World Bank that is recent, 2024, the Teach Ethics teacher feedback tool that analyzes the student engagement and discourse patterns, and then provides pedagogical feedback. Think about when we now are taking participating in online meetings that the AI is capturing our interaction, and it's already using analysis tools behind to give us feedback regarding, for example, time we spent, topic we addressed, direction of the conversation. In this sense, AI can be a very, very powerful tool. And then there are also automating virtual assistants, as I mentioned before. This is the example of Druid, a conversational AI platform for class management. We're running out a little bit of time. I'm going very fast. AI also assisted in the evaluation phase. Understand that in the ADI approach, evaluation is not about evaluating learning outcomes of our student, is more about evaluating our course, if we understand it as a project. What happened, what went well, what didn't went well. So these ideas creating AI can help us in creating evaluation plans, including, for example, surveys of diagnosis of knowledge of our student at the beginning of the course and satisfaction questionnaires at the end, analyzing the data that is generating through that, helping us evaluating and enhancing teaching practices and guiding in curriculum updates. As you see, we can see how AI is supporting us in every step of the design journey that we have as teacher of learning designers. Mostly and important is how AI is helping us in personalizing learning, in using interactive and adaptive technologies, adjusting in real time to a specific educational needs of a student. That is something till the moment very difficult to do and implement, particularly in large groups. And also supporting us, I was mentioning before, this tool that analyzes interaction in helping us in collaborative learning experiences through helping us in reporting about this interaction and then taking decision based on that. This relates specifically with the concept of engagement that has this dimension of cognitive, emotional, behavior, and social. Challenges, many, of course, over-reliances on AIs or misuse of AI, data privacy, the bias in algorithms, the lack of transparency of them. This is not specific to learning design of education. This applies to everything. Misleading information that can be provided by the AI, not intentionally. False results, the lack of cultural sensitivity, possible impact on critical thinking and creativity if our students or us ourselves relying too much on AI and do not take control on that. The need for training skills and aspect of accessibility. The AI-assisted learning design empowering teachers to analyze data, to personalize learning, to explore different methodological approaches focusing on active pedagogies and motivation, and also in self and social regulation, developing aligned assessment methods and instruments just to check them, create learning content in different formats with a focus on accessibility and inclusivity, and helping us particularly in merging these phases that I was mentioning before of analysis, design, and development that I hope I proved before. Lesson learned for up to now, what we have been experiencing ourselves and also reading in other experiences. The future of learning design lies on the balanced collaboration between AI and technologies and human expertise. AI tools enhance efficiencies and effectivities, but automating tasks that are more routinely enables teachers to focus on creative process and complex activities. Those time-demanding, routinely tasks, we can rely on AI and then just focus on a better learning experience. AI should complement, not replace, the role of education, and appropriate training is required. We have to understand the benefit, limitations, risks, and ethical consideration in the use of a responsible approach to artificial intelligence. So in conclusions, of the whole presentation today, we want to highlight the idea of empowering education and how learning design models, technology integration frameworks, and inclusive principles as UDL equip us as education to create personalized, student-centered learning experience, that fostering innovation using this framework is feasible. Take these frameworks and tools that we've been discussing today as food for thought, as cognitive tools that help us in promoting innovative teaching practices, supporting inclusivity, flexibility, and aligning with diverse needs. Just use UDL as cross-check, also seeing if we are compliant with all these principles. And another main idea of this presentation today, AI integration to learning design processes enhances the efficiency I was saying before, enabling us to save time and streamline decision making, adopting systematic approach to develop more effective educational strategies. As educators, we also contribute, and as educators, as stakeholders in our institution, the advancement of digital transformation. These tools provide us a robust foundation for creating adaptable, inclusive, and engaging learning experiences, focusing also in meeting the demands of the 21st century education, or we understand was 21st century skills or higher order skills. And combining this framework, as we showed a little bit today, and tool supports that not only academic achievement, but also motivation and long-term learning engagement, benefiting everyone, educators and students. The main idea behind all that is we are educators that have to pay a lot of attention on how we design our learning experiences, and we have to dedicate time. And now we are in a period of great changes where AI can assist us in all that process that is quite demanding. So thank you very much. And now we are have a moment to answer the question. I already seen some question, very interesting one, and also insight that you provided. And thank you very much for also sharing already some ideas on the chat. So we may start answering some of those questions. I will see we have annotated some ideas here in the questions. And I don't know, Lourdes, if you want me to start with some of them and then the ones that I focus while you were presenting.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions.
Yes.
Maybe I can start and you can check all the questions that are coming up.
Okay.
So there are some questions regarding, for example, if we have a standard of maximum time for a digital course. So I would like to say that it depends on the kind of the course, so on the objective, and if it's part of a bachelor, master, or it's a micro-credential, or is just a short course. So let me say that to be a digital course is not a barrier for the duration. So you can combine synchronicity and asynchronicity, and also analyze the kind of target audience and what are they expecting. If they have a digital competence, for example, enough to follow the course. Let me say that there are many variables to take in consideration. There is not a standard or a formula for that. So it depends of different questions. So other questions are about how about integrating gaming approach. So let me say that in higher education, we can recommend principles and experiences to enhance students' engagement and motivations. I'm sure that in the next session, our colleagues will address this part because they are presenting active methodologies. But maybe I can just highlight some questions about that. So incorporating game mechanisms like points, digital badge, leaderboards, and levels into the structural course can be interesting. We can award points for completing assignments, quizzes, or participation in discussions. We can design a course progression into levels where students unlock new content as they achieve learning milestones. This could be also encouraging for them. And if we add, for example, leaderboards, using an anonymous leaderboards to foster friendly competition and track progress, or comparing the score, got it, and compare the progression, comparing peers to engage them to improve the final mark. When you are comparing to peers, for example, sometimes this is engaging because, so I need to progress a little bit more, and maybe ask for help to the peers or to the teachers. How can I improve my progression? There is another question about the website we mentioned about PhET simulations, that if it could be used in experimental science like biology or physiology. So yes, PhET simulations can be effectively used in experimental science like biology and physiology. It offers a variety of simulations that are highly adaptable to biological and physiological contexts. For example, I think they have available simulations regarding genetics, cell biology, and also simulations involving energy and systems that could help model processes, and also interactive tools for exploring energy flows or how to support ecology and so on. But this site is limited, so they have a lot of materials but are not covering all the disciplines and needs. So, but I think it's sometimes I get into this website that it's interesting, because if I am not wrong, there are professors that are feeding this site. So they are providing simulations they build, and it's a very interactive place that you can find a lot of stuff, and you can contact with other professors that have the same needs. There's another questions about what you think about destinating. I don't know the word, if it's not well spelling. So the courses via social media, if I understand well, if you are referring to using, for example, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or other networks, yes, it can be even Instagram or TikTok for visually engaging learning resources or discussions with bite-sized learning content. For example, also YouTube for more structured video lectures and tutorials, also or other networks for micro-learning using threads and hashtags. You can learn a lot and can be an innovative way for learning, but we need thoughtful planning and execution to ensure quality and effective learning. So we have, in this case, if we choose social media, let me say that we have to use visual and interactive strategies to be very concise, using images, infographics, short videos, and also moderate discussion sometimes. And this kind of training can also provide interesting analytics that allows us to identify the interest of these topics. We can also identify profiles of the audience and so on. There are other questions that maybe would be interesting if Marcelo can answer you about if are there any learning design specific to people with specific needs. I think Marcelo already addressed that when he presented the universal design learning. So I don't know if you would like to highlight something else, Marcelo.
Sorry, I was checking other question about.
Okay.
Yes.
No, because there's someone that is asking about. Well, there are two questions. I think that related to universal design learning. There is one that are there any learning designs specific to people with specific needs? I mentioned that you already presented UDL, and there is another one that is, do these models take into account all needs of family students, even at open access universities? I think that UDL is one that is addressing these needs.
Yeah, UDL is a big framework and has a lot of guidelines and a lot of examples of how can you address all these issues. It does not get into the details regarding, for example, specific disabilities. If we are talking about that, is a whole, you have to go deeper into the literature, specific literature regarding that. But of course, if you go to the website, you will find a lot of examples that can guide you in this. There's also some available workshops regarding how to target specific needs or regarding, for example, disabilities. This is how it can be understood as a big picture. Then, of course, you have to go deeper into each specific issue. Regarding also this second question, I would say is the same answer. The idea is that we as teachers and are relying also in our own institution can try to solve these issues. For example, we have a unit in our institution regarding specific needs for specific people with different capacities or disabilities. Then when we need this support as teacher, we are not specialists in everything, so we rely on this group to actually adapt this our learning to those specific requirements. We try to advance that in terms of what we can do with technology, of course, provided different ways. We started a long time ago, for example, providing learning materials in multiple formats and interoperability between different tools that supported the students to listen to resources, to read resources, to interact with different tools like augmenting text or changing different colors, for example, for colorblind people. This kind of tool that technology is already supporting us, and some other that we actually have to study the case in particular and then intervene. I wanted to answer an interesting question at the very beginning. That there was a suggestion about a tool. There's a lot of interest in tools in particular. The idea of also today is think about these models as tools that support us in taking the right decision, but there are already available some specific resources. There was one mention, for example, that we know from a long period that was developed by Diane Laurillard and a UCL that is the learning designer. This is a good example. I don't know if the people share with with all of them the link to the learning designer planner that focuses on different types of activities. There's also some other tools like the Balanced Learning Design. That is an initiative from a Croatian university that we work with that integrates this typology of learning design activities into a tool that help us document our decisions in this environment, design decision, and has also integrated learning analytics behind that it provides us dashboard to help us understand how many activities I'm proposing to our students, how many active participation I'm demanding, how many collaborative, how much asynchronous time I dedicate to that. So it's a tool, very powerful tool in terms of taking decisions and help us on real time review our design, because I probably need to improve more active participation of students. I'm relying too much on teacher-led learning. So this kind of tool are also available. I put the link there for my colleagues if they want to share with everyone. There are other approaches that focus more on, there are tools that are not actually online tools in terms of a way stuff that is interactive like the other ones I was mentioning. But for example, the Enable approach to blended learning, that is active blended learning approach, has a whole website with a lot of resources that you can download and work in teams with your teachers. This is particularly interesting for Center for Teaching and Learning in institutions that support teacher development in their institutions. So they can use this, they have a set of flashcards that help design thinking, there's some templates that help document decisions all together. So they are already available. We share that on the chat, and we will share also later. There was another question regarding how much time do the if we calculate the time not only to learn about something in a subject matter, a specific course, but also in terms to learn the new tool. And this reminds me something that probably is important to share with you. Yes, of course, we have to consider the student workload required to any activity in our courses, including the time to learn, the use of the technology that we are proposing them to use. Why is ADI, for example, here interesting? Because it helps us in the analysis phase to establish a clear profile of who are our students, what are their skills, and then help me take decisions regarding what will I demand from them. So if I introduce a new technology, I already know who are more or less my students. There's an approach to learning design that describe what we understand as a persona, that is a detailed description of a profile of a student. That is, you can develop more than one persona for one course, thinking about different potential students of your course. And of course, taking into account that this persona definition, you have to think about what skills do they actually need to perform well in our courses using a specific tool that I decide to introduce in my course. And this must be calculated also, not only calculated, but also provided some support. Usually tools are being more and more usable and easy to understand and to work with. So unless you decide to introduce very advanced tools, all the tools that we were mentioning today and solutions that we were presenting today, even simulation, are not extremely difficult to use because they are thought in with usable elements in mind, that it can be easy to use and concentrate and focus on the task I have to do on the assignment I have to present. We are already on time, but I don't know if there is another question that we could take now.
There are questions about Marcelo about AI assistant for learning design. You already mentioned the AI Teaching Assistant Pro from Canada.
Yes.
There is another one that is already in the presentation, so you can check it. And there is another one that we can mention that is the Learning Design Planner from University of Zagreb that can provide a blueprint compatible with Moodle. And they already have this tool also in English. But there are many, because this learning design is really relevant, and AI can assist in this process pretty well. So in this sense, there are many institutions that are on track now, trying to support their teachers in a better way. So in this sense,
if you go back to the presentation in the AI-assisted learning design, we structured that in different phases that can support particularly in different phases. Remember that, for example, at the very beginning is about the persona I was mentioning, but the profile of our students with already running courses. We can analyze data with AI and learning analytics and see who they are and where are they performing better or worse. This is the way of helping us, tools that help us in design decision. But if you go to for example, to the development phase about I want to produce an interactive learning material using some attractive images, of course, I can use a bunch of available resources online. Most of them have limited free versions, because this is also one of the questions about free availability, but they are quite powerful. We know the most generic one, that are the generative AI like ChatGPT, that are more based on an interaction through prompting. We have Claude, we have Perplexity, more related to research sometimes, but it's very powerful. We have Copilot, all this generic tool. There are also very specific ones that can produce not only images, that can produce audio, that can produce even videos and animation. This is going faster, so we have to check all the time.
Yeah, thank you, Marcelo. We are running out of time, so I see that there are some questions that probably were put it in the chat before you presented later on some of these issues. And I'm sure that with the next session, there are some of the questions that will be answered in the next session, because there are issues that are related to micro design. So in this sense, you can follow the next session and try to see if it's already answered or not. If not, we will try to answer it in the next session through the chat. Okay? So let's have 30 minutes break and see you at 11.